We're gonna get started.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, hello Vermont, and welcome to Democracy Summer.
Yeah.
My name is Jordan Heiden, and I am the campaign director here at VPIRG. It is such a privilege to be here, and it's fitting that we are gathered here in Dewey Park under a sculpture called Embrace and Belonging. Now, I'm also so incredibly grateful to be here with VPIRG's summer canvas team to show Vermonters what courage looks like. We are committed to the values that make Vermont great: freedom and unity. And across Vermont, Democracy Summer is our rallying cry. We're all about knocking on doors, listening hard, and asking Vermonters, do you think our country is headed in the right direction, or is it off on the wrong track? What most Vermonters are telling us is that something is seriously wrong. So, we are helping them join in this movement. We're launching from the heart of the Old North End, a neighborhood known for its grit, diversity, and activism. And from there, we will stretch from every corner of the state, because whether you're in Brattleboro or Barton, Montpelier, or Middlebury, your voice deserves to be heard. So, to our canvassers, thank you. Getting a knock on your door from a VPIRG canvasser is a rite of summer for so many Vermonters. Usually we engage Vermonters about legislation moving through Montpelier. But this day, and this summer, you are democracy knocking. Your courage is so incredibly contagious, so again, thank you so much. I'm gonna wait for that motorcycle. So, we will be hearing from a VPIRG canvasser in just a few moments, along from our state treasurer. But for right now, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce VPIRG's executive director, Paul Burns.
Thanks so much, Jordan, and thanks everybody for being here today. I want to thank most particularly our canvassers, and it is, there's so many of them, it's great. It's great to see all of you, and as you know, this isn't even the full crew of the canvassers who are going door to door throughout Vermont to talk about the importance of getting involved to help save and preserve our democracy in this country. So I am eternally grateful. Just 39 years ago, I was doing the same thing, knocking on doors, canvassing in New York for VPIRG, and as I have said to many before, if you want, you can make a career out of this. So think about that and enjoy every day. For over 50 years now, VPIRG has been fighting for a clean environment, public health, consumer rights, and a democracy that answers to the people, not to corporations, not to billionaires, and certainly not to kings. This summer, we're doubling down because our democracy faces a kind of threat that we've never experienced before. It's a threat from within our own government and at the highest levels. Our president is using the United States military to suppress American citizens, which is unconstitutional. He's making it harder for Americans to vote. He's abusing the powers of his office to unilaterally impose tariffs, which are actually taxes on working families. And he's slashing vital programs that provide health care, food assistance, and help with heating bills for the most vulnerable Vermonters, just to give tax credits to billionaires. But it doesn't have to be this way. We can still have a government that is by and for the people, but only if we're willing to work for it. That's what Democracy Summer is all about. It isn't just a campaign, it's a movement, one that is fueled by the dreams and ambitions that built our nation. Here in Vermont, it's driven by door-to-door conversations and community gatherings. It's rooted in the belief that the antidote to despair is action. The sculpture behind us honor the long struggles for justice and freedom in this country. It reminds us that real change doesn't come easy. And in the words of the late civil rights leader and Congressman John Lewis, it sometimes requires us to get in good trouble, necessary trouble, and help redeem the soul of America. That means that people across Vermont and all over our country, people like the courageous canvassers standing behind me here today, must keep showing up. So to our canvassers, all of you, thank you. You are now the front lines of democracy here in Vermont. Knock loud, listen hard, inspire action. And I am grateful to every door that you knock on and every conversation that you have. And now it is my pleasure to introduce one of your members here to speak today, member of our team, Alexis Drown, who grew up right here in Vermont and is helping to lead the Democracy Summer Program. Alexis.
Thanks, Paul. Hi, everyone. I'm Alexis, and I have the immense honor of helping lead this year's Democracy Summer Canvas. You know, when we set out to build this campaign, we kind of knew that we weren't just recruiting canvassers. We were going to be building a team of activists, of, advocates who'd be willing to be really brave in the defense of our democracy. And today, that team is standing here right now, and they are willing to go out and do the work. Canvassing is not an easy gig. It takes stamina, it takes grit, it takes a willingness to engage with strangers on porches and, on apartment stoops. But it's one of the most powerful tools that we have right now to make tangible change, to make people feel seen, heard, empowered. We are offering real ways to take action right now, because action is the thing that turns frustration into power. And standing here in Dewey Park, beneath this monument to liberty, diversity, justice, I think it's a reminder that we really are a part of something bigger. We are standing on the shoulders of generations of activists who, activists who reimagined a better America. And like those revolutionaries, abolitionists, suffragists, and civil rights leaders, we're not trying to take America back right now to some idealized past. We're fighting for a better future, and we really, really hope that you'll join us. Thankfully, Vermont is not Washington, D.C., and I have the pleasure of introducing one of the leaders who makes Vermont such a great place for democracy, State Treasurer Mike Pieciak.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Good afternoon. Welcome to all the canvassers. It's so great to meet you. I look forward to spending some time with you. Congratulations on an exciting summer ahead. It's a great topic for VPIRG to pick this year, because our democracy is so much bigger than any piece of legislation we might propose in Montpelier. It's so much bigger than anything we might do in Washington, D.C. It's so fundamental to our country and to our future. And I am fundamentally worried about our democracy. I'm worried about our democracy for two big reasons. One is the growing wealth inequality we've seen across our country, and that's being exacerbated by policies from Washington, D.C., and the other is the erosion of our civil liberties. On the fact about our economy, we're already seeing people struggling to get by in Vermont. We're seeing a shrinking middle class. And then we're seeing economic policy that's really economic cruelty masked as an economic policy in Washington, D.C. A plan to take millions and millions of dollars of health care away from Americans. Millions more will get food assistance cut. Vulnerable people, seniors, middle class, working class people will make out much worse on the big, beautiful bill. But the people who will make out much, much better are millionaires and billionaires. And it's the exact policy that we do not need. We need policies that rebuild the middle class, strengthen it, and support economic mobility. Because in my opinion, the fact that we have the wealth inequality we do in our country, the fact that people have anger and despair and lack optimism when they think about their future, it's what gives way to people like Donald Trump and authoritarian policies. They will say, well, what does the democracy do for me? What does our economy do for me? What does my society do for me? And it doesn't just make our economy unstable, it really destabilizes our institutions and our democracy overall. So we're moving in the wrong direction. We need to start having conversations and need to start moving back toward a place where we have a strong and growing middle class, where people have hope, they have economic security, and they believe that they will have a better life than their parents had. And if that isn't bad enough, the erosion of our civil liberties is really what is most concerning. You heard Paul talk about First Amendment rights. That's the First Amendment in our Constitution. It's one of the most critical, that people have the ability to stand up and speak out and do it peacefully and do it loudly and freely. And the fact that that's being eroded is really concerning. But the thing that concerns me the most is the way that this administration is treating our neighbors, folks that are hardworking, wake up every day, do tough jobs, make our economy power forward, And instead of treating them as friends and neighbors, this government is treating them as criminals. And it's really discouraging. It's really un-American. And that part, we need to stand up and speak out, because everybody in this country deserves due process. Everybody in this country deserves to have the opportunity to have their case heard and the facts presented and the evidence presented and an opportunity to rebut. And that is not happening. Even just yesterday, my colleague, Brad Lander, who's the comptroller in the city of New York, he was violently arrested by ICE agents just for simply trying to get information for one of his constituents that was at an immigration proceeding. So these tactics are clearly designed to spread fear, but what's so inspiring today is that I think the antidote to all of this is trying to build community, whether it's here in Burlington, here in Vermont, or across the country. And what all of these canvassers are going to be doing all summer, door by door, street by street, is building community around this issue of saving and preserving our democracy. So I couldn't be more excited to be here today to help kick this off. Again, I wish them all the best this summer. We are counting on you, so good luck.
Thanks so much, Treasurer Pieciak, for being here, and again, for all of you. I'd just say again, this campaign, we understand that Vermont alone cannot address all of the problems that we are facing as a nation right now in terms of our democracy and the health of our democracy. We may not be able to solve all those problems ourselves, but it's impossible for me to believe that the problems are going to be solved without us. We have to be part of that solution. And so Vermonters, as Mike has said in the past, we have each other's back. You know, when there are problems here, when people are being abducted, you see Vermonters showing up. When voices are being stifled, you see Vermonters showing up. When somebody tries to act like a king and hold a military parade, you see tens of thousands of Vermonters showing up, making their voices heard, and that has to be part of the solution. We can also, at the state level here, and the Treasurer has been part of this, create solutions so that even as we lose certain policies, programs, and benefits that we have trusted would be there at the federal level, we can try to protect those similar kinds of programs and policies here at the state level. We can create new ones so that they are models for others to follow, to replicate, or even improve upon. We can be a beacon of light in what is a very challenging and dark time for many. And if that's a role that Vermont can play, then we are damn happy to do it. And we are proud of the work that we are all doing as part of this campaign this summer. I don't think there's an organization around that is putting more time and effort into trying to preserve our democracy, one conversation at a time, one doorstep at a time, one community at a time, than we are this summer. And again, I'm really, really happy and proud of all the canvassers who are here. With that, we're happy to answer any questions that you may have. Perhaps we've answered them all. Yes, Matt?
Well, yeah, one that comes to mind, I just want to ask about the risk that canvassers take going up to, random strangers' doors. Is there, in this day and age, more of a fear of, like, say, violent retaliation, or more of a sense of safety, the fact that Vermont is the state in which we are doing this?
Well, it's a great question, and I would say we are this summer celebrating the 40th anniversary of the start of the VPIRG canvass, and so we've been doing this for a long time, but every year we are thinking very carefully about what we can do to maximize the safety of the canvassers. There is nothing that is more important to us than that. So as we try to preserve democracy at its most kind of fundamental form, having civil conversations, one door after another, engaging people in these conversations and issues, we want to do it in a way that is as safe as possible for the canvassers. Last year we were working to try to protect pollinators from toxic pesticides. The year before we were working to try to address the problems of climate change and holding the polluters accountable for the damages that they have caused here. Some of those are more or less controversial at the door. This one is a hotter topic in that way, and so early on we try to ask people about whether they think the country is heading in the right direction or the wrong direction. And with that simple question that you see on many surveys now, we get a sense of where folks are. And if we believe that someone is unlikely to be with us on the issues that we're talking with them about, we can thank them cordially and invite them to have a great rest of their day. And we are not there to argue with people or to convince them that our democracy is under any kind of threat. We are there to try to connect with what I think is the vast majority of Vermonters who share concerns about the state of our democracy and value the idea that through further engagement and participation we can do something about it. But and we, you know, there's a lot of other things that we can do. We can share with that with you if you're interested in more details of that. But it is, as I say, nothing more important than safety, and I think we've taken really important steps to try to ensure that our canvassers remain safe, doing the really important work that they're doing this summer. Any other questions that folks have? Okay. Thank you so much for being here, and thanks to the canvassers. Woo!
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, thank you all. Thank you. Good luck.
Hey, one more request.
Oh, yeah.
If everybody took 2 steps back, daily be careful, there's fire hydrant there. And then we get the treasurers in there, we'll get group photos.
That sounds great.
Signs up.
I'll go wide.
Signs up. You gotta get a shirt, yeah. Oh, wow. Cleanup crew. I like that rodeo. Easier to do it with that rodeo. Got it? Photographer? Yes. Okay. Hey, thank you.